A check one, a check two, 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 three, rolling, roll. So the point that I was getting at that seemed to be startling, whatever sort of something that he had the ability to auto off my phone through all sorts of 10,000 viruses and restarts, 100 times and what in the heck? It's been recovered. I recovered it clearly. They said it's not for the little people to understand. When the last rose of summer pricks your finger. And I was just trying to put myself to sleep, really, and I wasn't even recording at that point. But what I was going into was something of a lycanthropy, which is if you doesn't put that in the context of cartoon or Uncas the werewolf or anything similar to that, and if you could imagine a blood bank of 1790 AD Stockholm, and maybe something of a born with and blood passed on through lineage and things like similar to some kind of Vatican something with the that says that the blood of the Savior or something about Jesus and all that sort of stuff, and to keep the royalty in use and things. It's not that they would put it simply from semen, organically down and down and down and down, but also with a big hierarchy like royal lineage, and to keep the same spirit fluid in the same royal family and hierarchy lineage and etc. The technical lycanthropy rather than any kind of weird vampiric Jesus anything. It's it. Although Sweden lost the Crusades in 980 A.D., they were making a comeback in the close to the after the brand new world was found in 1700s. It was found in the 1600s, and the Swedes, or the Scandinavia, especially those from North Mason-Dixon line, or were just interested in the brand new world, and he had developed some sort of, although they lost against the Crusades in 980 A.D. and decided to blend in with neutrality, with the whole Crusades, Christian everything, with the wound up some sort of lineage hierarchy, way back in 980 A.D. So there was that, and then there was they were trying to get me to nuance into what the 800 confirmed kills. Oh, great, yeah, like the war ever happened. Yeah, right. Like I believe that in hell. Ha ha ha. Or that mixed with oh, people doesn't live from 1900 something or 193 something or anything in between, or 1800s in the what after the year 2000, what after 9000, rah, and things like that. At the same time, this says the poopy diaper of La La Goo Goo Land is all that is holy and things. I was getting into something about how Brent may have dosed my bottle, and I may have been killed 3 months after born or whatever, somehow technically undead, maybe on and off since conception. Technically undead. And if I was technically undead in the womb, or maybe the transformation from 6 months as a woman in the belly, and somehow he comes out as a man. So somehow maybe between during that gender transformation, wound up maybe temporarily not living. Perhaps that was the first time, and Brent just kind of was helping me along in some sort of new world, brand new world with some kind of old, or globally fashion of or something. I don't know. It wound up turning into great grandma's Swedish lycanthropy habits, as well as fake great grandmas that they were about the same age. Werewolf habits of being undead in certain as far as the certain technicalities, or dead, yes, but not beyond repair, and I self-resurrect myself through slumber or not, through dreamscapes or not, and while sleeping, 100% unconscious, whether dreaming or not. They've tend to tell me, you were dead. You were dead through and through all the way. And well, when I have my privacy, in my own places and things, I tend to wake up after, between 6 and 18 hours, ever between 6 and 24 hours. Between 4 hours and 24 hours, I tend to wake up and follow along the regimented program, and that might be that might be a tidbit of I know it's a strange churchy take on the medicinal protocol, where I'd have to bounce out of the sack at least every 24 hours and hold it at least a fortnight alive. You know, regardless of what condition it is. Whether or not I have to cope with the intoxication of your proverbial shot inmate or inmate shot, quote unquote, of something similar to a diazepam or a Thorazine or cariprazine or whatever kind of Seroquel or risperidone, anything, not for a mental illness, not for a predisposition to mental illness, not for a mental handicap, not for anything of that sort whatsoever, but just to ensure the safety of those around, for the well-being of the people that have seen me once before. I have to be seen every 24 hours for a minimum of 4 hours, and perform all regular, ordinary, normal people duties, or else I'll be perhaps crucified or something similar to burnt at the stake in a court of church laws of things in the town, Connecticut, local city, etc. Unfortunately, due to random church things that I just don't really have the time or mental space or physical privacy enough to delve into currently with the blinding billions, or somehow in great detail explain, through the dotted i's and crossed t's of all the this and that's in the later days. And so there was that, and then there was the very forgiving, more larger chapter, I suppose, as far as not necessarily, within arm's reach, but from say Connecticut to California or Canada to Mexico, of the Grateful Dead that would understand something similar to a king archangel, or whatever sort of like the leader of a small army, the whole Nassau Coliseum, Uniondale, New York, Wake Up to Find Out, which has been recondoned in say 2014 under some sort of Hollywood something, and found in every other public library across Connecticut to California, and Canada to Mexico, Mexico to Canada, California to Connecticut, however you tend to look at it. So there's that. And then there was the whole box of nails, where Midland spent some time, and I wound up living in. It was originally something of a slave house for the indigenous Brand New World werewolf that was my great grandfather's property. He adopted her in a legal sense, as far as back then she was supposed to be somewhat something similar of a slave, although the Negroes had freedom ultimate from Abraham Lincoln and forward. The savage of local heathens simply did not. And as far as the Arctic, or just under the Arctic pole race of humans, might still be under prejudice still currently today. And as far as the tribe of local, or somehow the race that what was the majority populace of New England, considered werewolves of the Brand New World by the Europeans, has reservation in Uncasville, although it's teeny tiny, and it's about 90% gambling installation, 10% reservation, and today I still currently collect $0.00 from them for unknown reasons. I speculate and make assumptions out of, and then I hold those assumptions under cosmen, due to the predisclosed speculation. Is what it's not that I have any kind of facts set in place, that because I understand darn skippy that my ideas and opinions may be quite wrong, but I do tend to speculate in the slightest, or somehow make a best guess after several possible guesses. I tend to pick one and just still keep it in the big old capital Q, as to why it doesn't have $1 billion from many different sources, or several different sources, or at least one out of close to a dozen different sources.